Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, and today I'm doing a VR to Boho Tarot, and it's the Hearth and Home decks. Now, it's been around, I think, for a couple of weeks, possibly 3 maybe, but I haven't been able to get around to do it until now, so I will do it now. So the first prompts, which I'm going to put underneath, for those of you who haven't actually done this particular, or who haven't seen this VR, I'll put the prompts underneath. And now, of course, being in the northern hemisphere, they're in autumn, I do believe, and this is what sort of started the prompt. But I think you can do it, even though I live in the southern hemisphere, it doesn't really matter. But the first prompt is the deck that feels like coming home. And so, actually, for me, it's an oldie. It's actually Titania's fortune cards, believe it or not. So this is the original deck. And I should say the original one. This is the actual first edition. I just realised I had that upside down, but that's what the backs look like. Okay, the new one now actually comes in a pink box. That's the second edition there, which I've actually laminated the cards on that particular second edition, because the card stock is absolutely woeful, just like the first edition. So the first edition box, you know, it'll actually comes in like that, and then it's got and that's what the box. So this was the very first one, and this is how I learnt Lenormand. So the cards, you know, sit in there, and then it's got, you know, all the meanings in the actual book there. So this was printed in 2000. So I've been reading the Lenormand cards for 21 years. That's a long time, isn't it? So this is the deck that feels like coming home, just because I have been reading with these for a very, very long time. So as you can see, this colour is these are very vibrant, these colours. I prefer these to the second edition. I had one of my beautiful subscribers send this to me, Michelle Cracker. Yeah, this feels like coming home is because I have read with this deck for like 21 years. And it's just, every time I grab it, I don't know, it's just like slipping into a comfortable pair of slippers. It's just such an easy deck. I mean, you're looking at the images, you know, they're nothing flash, they're very, very basic, almost psychedelic, almost looks like, you know, someone's been tripping on LSD or something like that. But by God, these pack a punch, this card. I have done a walkthrough on this deck, and I have done a comparison of the first and the second cards together. And this is not a deck for the faint-hearted. It really tells like it is. It really packs a punch. It will predict death. It will predict all the horrible shit. I'm telling you, it will. But it's still like a deck that feels like coming home, purely because I've read this particular deck for such a long time, for so many years now. But I absolutely love it. It just you know, it just tells it like it is. And yeah, and I love it. And that's the deck that feels like coming home, purely because I've read it for so long. Just put them carefully to the side, because I don't want to ruin them. I don't use them. I use them very, very rarely. I use the second edition, just because I don't want to ruin them, because it's, you know, it's really, really hard to get the first edition. So the second one was called actually, that was Hearth and Home, the deck that feels like coming home. So this one is Gather Together, the deck that reminds you of family and friends. And for this, for me, this is the Lightseers Tarot, of which I've edged in 2 different colours. This is a beautiful deck. And Nina from Shuffle Tarot got me into this deck. She actually got this deck, and we were just mucking around, you know, shuffling it when I got mine. Well, actually, no, with hers we were doing it. We were just shuffling it. And there's just so many cards in here that reminded us of each other. And also, if the card will turn up, also, I'll see if I can find it. Nat from Sanskrit Blue, there's a particular card that reminded us. And we had a lot of fun with this deck. I'm not going to be able to find it. I'm pretty positive it'll be too hard to find. But it's just I don't know. It just reminds us, because there was like I said, there was a card that reminded us of Nat from Sanskrit Blue, Nina and I, and actually Nat's partner Tom. And I said, this really reminds us of all of us together this particular card, and I can't think what the card's called, like what the actual, you know, the card is, and it's not going to turn up, I just know it, but anyway. But this what reminds me of family and friends, as the light says, because I can relate, we could relate to each other in this deck. We had a lot of fun mucking around, asking questions, and it's just a beautiful deck, and it really does remind me of my friends. It reminds me of good times of, you know, before I got sick, when Nina and I used to, when this first deck first come out, we used to muck around with it together. It's just, yeah, it just reminds me of those times. It was really, really good fun. And I think we actually were texting Nat while we were actually mucking around with this deck, and it's a beautiful deck. It's beautiful buttery cardstock, and I know it had a lot of problems when it first came out. It really, really did, but it's a beautiful deck. I mean, look at this. Look at these cards. They're just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So that's definitely one that reminds me of family and friends. More of friends, I should say, than actual family. Yeah, more. I'd have to say more than that. The actual next deck and the prompt was the Light Up Your Life, and I'm not going to be able to pick them two cards up, am I, because of this stupid bloody armband, but it doesn't really matter. The Light Up Your Life, so the deck that lights your way through the dark, and for me this is the Isabel Snail. So that's the backs of the cards, and this is this one here, the Isabel Snail. It is an absolute, so it's by Beth Selwyn, who's done the Guardian Tarot, and this one is just, and if I find the card, I'll tell you why it actually lights up my life. But it's just it's a beautiful deck. Again, it looks very, very cute, very, very sweet, but it packs a punch, believe you me. It tells you like it is, and I had a lot of really good readings. I read professionally with this deck. I'm not one of those people that that saves decks just for reading professionally. I use all of my decks in reading professionally. There's not, I don't just have a few that I only use for clients. I use all of them. So I will use this deck. I will use whatever calls out to me for it. That's just the way I am. But this one, and I'm going to see if I can find the actual card, why it really lit up my life, because it was at a very sad time, and I have to find it. I've got to find the card because it just explains it so well. Oh, nearly there. Should have got it out. I should have got it ready, but I was just getting all the cards. Let me find it. Look at the Hanged Man. Isn't it gorgeous? It's just a beautiful deck. It really, really is. Here it is. So the reason why this one is a deck that lights up my life, for those of you who have followed me for a while, you know that we used to have a pug called Oscar. He was actually crossed with a Jack Russell and a pug, so he was called a Jug. And he unfortunately went blind, and we had an operation for him, cost us $6,000, worked, and then about 4 weeks later he went completely blind again, because both of his retinas detached from his eyeballs, and it just went downhill from there. Not long after, 2 years ago on Halloween is actually when we had to get him put to sleep. He had what we think is a bit of a stroke. He couldn't stand up, and it's just awful. And a couple of days after he died, I pulled out this deck, and I just asked, is he okay? And this is the one that I've got, the Seven of Pentacles. And as soon as I saw that, the words "I'm just taking in the view" come straight into my head. So those of you who do know that I do spirit messages, and I do animal, a lot of pets come through on my spirit messages, and I've just started focusing solely on trying to bring pet spirits through. I haven't done a lot because, like I said, I'm still recovering from breast cancer. Even though I've finished all my treatment, you still get tired. So, and of course, if you look at the snail, we can only see the back of her eyes. So when he was on this side of the veil, he was blind and he was miserable. Okay, some dogs do cope well with being blind. He didn't. He really didn't. He didn't cope at all. I mean, I did everything for him that I could. going to the toilet was an effort. You know, I had to let him out. I used to have to clap my hands so he knew to follow the direction of my hands, so he knew where to come in. I had mats everywhere, so he knew to step up and down, mats for his water, for his food. You know, it was really, really very hard. But of course I did it because I loved him. So when you look at the back of Isabel Snail, when he was on this side of the veil, when he was on Earth living with us, he couldn't see a damn thing. And funny enough, he was almost the colour of that shell. He was a very beautiful coloured dog. I'll just grab right here so you can see. That's Oscar. Isn't he just gorgeous? So you can see the colour even, you know, can you see that? Look at that. The colour even is very, very much like him. So as soon as I saw that, I knew he was okay. He was just sitting there taking in the view. He was just looking on the other side. He was looking at everything that he hadn't seen for so long. Because when he went blind, how we found out is that he was actually, we were playing ball with him, and he just ran straight into my shin bone. Honestly, I thought he broke it. And I said to Aaron, God, what's happening? What? And he said, I don't know. And then when I went to take him for a walk, he fell down the stairs. He didn't see the stairs in the park. So, you know, and it was just really, really hard, and he just couldn't cope. He was only 10, only 10. I mean, I had my cat for 22 years. We feel cheated, that he only lived that long. He was such a beautiful boy, such a loving dog. But when I saw this card, it made me feel very, very happy. And it really did shine a light in the dark of losing him, because I'm already tearing up. Because I just knew that he was sitting there enjoying the view. He was looking at all the things that he couldn't see. And yeah, so this is a very special deck to me, and that card, every time I see it, I think of him, and I think about when I ask the question, is he okay? And that's what we got. So yeah, it's a beautiful deck. And you have to excuse my eyes too, if you can see they're very red underneath. I've got styes under my eyes, but they're not actually a stye. My oncologist thinks it's turned into something else. I've actually got to see an eye specialist, and I'm pretty much going to have surgery to get them taken out. They're just not healing. I've had them for months now, but they look awful. And of course it shows up because I'm doing this one actually at night time. So it's the Nine of Pentacles. So yeah, this deck has got a lot of meaning for me. It's beautiful. Every time I see that Seven of Pentacles, it was as clear as day. I'm taking in the view, Mum. I'm just watching. I'm just looking at everything that I've missed, and yeah, it's yeah, that's a very special deck and a very special meaning for me, that one. So that really did light up my life. I asked the same question when I lost my cat, and I had I used the pagan Tarot of the Pagan Cats, and I got, I think it was the Queen of Cups or something. And like that, that she felt like a queen. There was an actual spread that someone put on Instagram, and it was really, really good. And yeah, and I did that spread, and it was just beautiful. It really, really was. I loved it. Okay, so the next one was, oh, sorry, I got a bit of a runny nose. I was crying. I miss him so much, honestly. And this one is Rainy Days, the deck you want to curl up with on a rainy day, and it's the Philakos Tarot. So I've etched mine in black, and I've actually trimmed my deck. I love this deck. I just absolutely love it. As you can see, the court cards, I suppose, are in black and white, because you haven't actually how can I explain? You haven't actually put in colour what you're going to do. It's still in the area of thoughts and dreams, and you haven't actually brought it into colour, into real vision yet. And I really like that. This actually, a lot of people did not like that out of this deck, but I absolutely adore it. I saw this first with Natalie on Sanskrit Blue, and I just, halfway through the video, or as soon as it finished, I ordered it. It's a beautiful deck. It gives beautiful, meaningful readings, like really, really good. That's what the backs look like there. And I do believe that's the spirit of the deck that actually talks to you through the deck. It is an amazing, it's so different. Cardstock is beautiful. The readings that I do with this for my clients, they absolutely love it. It really it's very gentle. It doesn't, I wouldn't say like it packs a punch, but it does tell you what you need to hear, but in a very gentle, healing type of a way. And it's just gorgeous. It's very ethereal. It's mystical. It's magical. I love this Tower card. Absolutely adore it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful deck. I highly recommend it. I really, really do. It only had very, very thin borders around it, but I just wanted to see the pictures. I just absolutely adore this deck. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it reads like a dream. It really, really is. So it's something nice to you would want to curl up with on a rainy day, because it really, really does. It's just beautiful. It's just, yeah, it's very dreamlike. And she's very big, if you know Carmen, she's very big into dreams and working through dreams. She does workshops and everything like that. So it's absolutely perfect. So the next prompt is Harvest Nights, the deck that evokes harvest vibes or bonfire. If I can grab this one here. There's actually two that come up for me here. Oh gosh, I should have put these a bit closer. I've got a really big desk. So the first one is the Hush Tarot, again, which I've edged. It's the backs of it there. This is definitely got an autumn vibe to it. I mean, I use this. I don't use my decks seasonally. I just use them when I want to, whenever I'm drawn to it. It's got a very fae-like quality to this particular deck as well. It's beautiful. I really adore it. I can't remember where I saw. It might have been Kelly in the Truth and Story. I can't remember now. It might be so much of Angelina Jolie, the one with the black hair. It's a lovely, lovely deck. It really, really is. And it would be, you could just imagine sitting around a bonfire and pulling out this deck and reading with it, and being in woodlands and having the fae around you. It's just a, yeah, it's a very ethereal deck. It's beautiful. Very good readings too. I find I hardly ever use traditional meaning, or hardly ever do use traditional meanings anyway when I read the tarot. I'm very much my own type of reader, I suppose. But yeah, it's the type of readings that it gives is you've got to work for it. Okay, it's something that you've got to really look at. You've really got to look at the image, and you've really got to pick things out of it. I mean, look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? The Five of Cups. So, you know, yeah, it's something you've got to work at to get the messages. You've really, really got to look at the image. I know everyone looks at the images on the card, but, you know, with some decks, you've really, really got to nitpick them, and this is one of them. This is one that when you do a reading, that you need to sit with it for a little bit and go back and have a look, you know, if you've got that time. Of course, the other one that I chose is the Halloween Tarot, the very traditional Halloween Tarot. You know, of course, it's going to remind you of bonfires and Halloween coming up and everything like that, but I had to put this one in as well. It's definitely, practically everybody would own this deck, I'd say. I mean, you know, there's the backs. I think I got this one because, you know, like I said, I had a black cat for 22 years. And this is, surprisingly, this reads really, really well. I actually did a reading for somebody and they were amazed. This is when I was on the Eclectic Tarot, when we used to read for each other. And they were amazed at how I picked up their brother in one of the readings, the reading that I did for him, one of the cards. He couldn't believe it. So it really does read very, very well, even though it's what you would class, I suppose, as a, you know, a novelty deck. It reads really well. And then we've got Handmade with Love, the deck that feels like a homespun gift. And for me, it's a relatively new deck, actually. And again, I actually saw this on Boho Tarot's channel, and I was halfway through the video, and I actually, I tell you what, even though your husband's not here, he's still a pest, hey. I've etched mine in this sort of a blue. This is the backs. This is a huge deck, as you can see. But why it's like a homespun gift to me is because, you know, for those of you who know, I've spent the best part of this year fighting breast cancer. I've gotten all clear now. And I have been a practicing witch for about 30 years, possibly slightly longer. I'm not too sure. Look at that. And when I saw this deck, and I thought, how on earth could have I missed this deck? Now, I know it hasn't been out all that long, but my witchy side has been calling me something chronic lately. I've let it lapse because, basically because I was happy, because I got remarried, and I've been really deliriously happy, sickening as that sounds, and I just let it lapse. I just didn't sort of practice the craft as much. But before I got sick, it was really, really drawing me in again. I was really pulled to it like nothing. And lately I have been working, and that's why this seems like a homespun gift, because when I found witchcraft, it felt like coming home. It gave me back my power. It gave me my voice. It gave me strength. It just gave me so much. And that's why when I saw this deck, and Phyllis Carreau, I read a lot of her books when I was still very new to walking the path. And this has all been channeled, this deck, okay? It's very focused on the elements. It's just gorgeous. I don't know how to explain it. It just really felt like a homespun gift. It made me remember, and I've gone back, haven't I? It's made me remember who I am, okay? Who I am and what I wanted to do, and it's just given me the gift of witchcraft back, of what I've missed. I didn't realise how much I missed it either. I did, because when I first, as usual, when you're new to witchcraft, you try out all these spells, things work. And when I met my husband, and I thought, well, I've got everything now. I don't need to do any more spells. And I've only probably done, 2 or 3 since I've been with him. We've been married nearly 18 years now, or will we in January. But of course now I'm older and wiser. It's more about than just doing spell work, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people, celebrate the Sabbats and things like that, which I've never really done. I try to, but it doesn't really ring true living in Australia. It's too hard to do it, the Northern Hemisphere. So that white horse of Uffington is really, really big. I went to England, and we drove past it in a train, my brother and I, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. So yeah, it's reminded me of where I've come from, my roots of how I discovered it, and so that's what I was talking about, the Sabbath. So it's being in the Southern Hemisphere, when some parts of Australia have got 6 different seasons. It's very, very hard to follow. I do follow a lot of the Northern Hemisphere directions and things like that, but I'm very much my own person too. I very much just work the way I see fit. I do a lot in my head. I don't do a lot of physical type ritual. Well, of course, because I was just too damn sick to do it anyway. Good luck trying to stand up, let alone do a ritual. So a lot of it I did in my head. But yeah, this deck has really been a gift to me. It's really made me realise on just how much I've missed it, and how much I craved it, and I've been really getting into it these last few months. I really, really have. I haven't made as much videos as I've used to. I just make them when I feel like it, and I've been really, really enjoying it. So yeah, this is an awesome deck. Absolutely love it. The other one is Thankful, Grateful, Blessed, the deck that helps you appreciate the good times. And this, for me, is going to seem strange for some people, but it's the Bohemian Gothic Tarot First Edition, and the reason I've etched it, and the reason it is because this was the very first deck, and this is, I think it was back in 2007, this deck is, that I brought myself with my first professional earnings as a professional tarot reader. So this has really, every time I use it, I just remember how awesome it was when I brought this deck for myself out of my own money that I earned reading the tarot. It's got a very special place in my heart, this deck. It's pretty hard to see actually, because it's a very dark deck actually. I'm just talking about the colours as well, so it's probably a bit hard to pick up on camera, but this has always got a very, very, it really does make me appreciate earning money as a tarot reader. Earning money is something that I absolutely love doing as a tarot reader. I was working as a tarot reader. I actually brought a matching bag to a tarot tote bag, and I think it was the strength card. Of course, I know it is a strength card, and one that's not in the deck, Dracula's Castle as well. Absolutely awesome deck. Really, really love it. And the final one is Comfy and Cozy, the deck that is always there for you. And I've actually got two, and I suppose I should start with the oldest one. And this one is the Hanson Roberts deck. Now this has been edged and it's been trimmed because it's that old. I think it's about 30 years old and it was all yellow and horrible. So this deck is, you know, it's always there. It is a comfy. I developed a really, really strong bond with this deck. I've read so good with this deck. I mean, I'll still read. I can read with it, but stupid me, being new back then, saw so many other tarot decks that I put it to the side, and I just worked with, you know, a whole heap of other, as you do when you're new, and I lost that bond that I had with this deck. You know, I lost it. I work really well with this deck still, but I haven't got that really deep connection that I once had with it, which is a real shame, because I've read some of my old posts on Electric Tarot, and on the study group, the Hanson Roberts study group, and I'm really amazed at the insights that I got out of it, and could kick myself in the head for putting it to the side. Really, I should have just kept with it. I really should have just kept to it. But it's still comfy and cozy because it's very easy to read with. It's very gentle. It's a very, I mean, it looks very fairy tale like, but it's very how can I say it? It's very, well, it's gentle, but it will tell you what you need to know as well. I can't find the right words to describe it. I mean, even the Tower card, you know, it's nothing really too frightening. The Four of Pentacles always reminds me of my grandfather, my German grandfather. He was very tight with money. It's just, I don't know. It's just a deck it's got this energy about it. It's different. It's unusual. It's nice, as they say in Kath and Kim. And then the final deck of my comfy and cozy is the Tarat. Absolutely adore this deck. My brother had a white rat when I was a child called Bulchicus bulbarius. And Mum said I was like a slave. You know, he used to say, "Andrew, can I touch your rat?" And he used to go, "Do this, do that," because there's 10 years between my brother and I. And I used to run around and be like his slave just so I could pat the rat. And yeah, as soon as I saw this deck, I just fell in love with it. And this is one that packs a punch. Besides looking so gorgeous and cute, it's a really, really good deck to read with. It's awesome, and all the little, you know, the little stars that you see there, all that adds up into the reading. You know, for some reason, they really add to the meaning of the card. It always, this is my favourite devil card. Look at that. Can you see the shadow? How it's got the horns in the shadow. I absolutely love it. It's just a beautiful deck. It's a really hard packing little deck. It's quite funny, you know, like the Isabel Snail. I have some, see all them little dots? They end up have meaning in the readings, you know, depending on the question that you've asked, but they always seem to have meanings. So so even though it looks cute, it reads like astronomically well. I think I've had this for about 4 years now, I think. I can't quite remember. I've had it for a long time. Absolutely love it. I really, really do. It's just an awesome deck. So it's definitely a, you know, comfy and cozy. You know, sometimes you need to do a reading and you don't really feel like doing a reading, but you need to do it. Well, this is probably the deck that I'd reach for. It's absolutely, it's amazing. It really, really is. I wanted to find the devil card. The devil card is, not the devil card, sorry, the death card is one of my favourites. I'll just see if I can find it for you. Oh God, you know, some of these are reversed again. I don't know what it is lately. I have been finding reverse cards in my deck, and I'm somebody that always turns them around the right way. Always, I'm telling you. And now I've been finding them all over the shop, and I know I haven't dropped this one. I love the chariot. The chariot's really cute. Oh, it's got to be in here somewhere. It's not on, stuck on there. This desk is shocking. Things stick to it. I think look at the tower on this one as well. How sweet is it? So you still get the, you know, the message that you need to. I just want to find the death card. This is one of my favourite. The devil and the death card. And the hermit card is really, really good as well. Might as well turn them up the right way while I'm here. Oh, here it is. Gosh, that's the death card. Isn't that awesome? Have a look at it. Absolutely love it. That had me worried then. I really thought that I lost it. So that is the comfy and cozy. So I've got 2 of them, and this was a really good video actually to do, because it really makes you think about your decks and how you relate to them and what they mean to you and why you are drawn to use the ones that you do and the ways that you do and what it makes you think about. You know, how, you know, like every time I use Isabel Snarn, if I come across the 7 of Pentacles, I think of Oscar. The light seers, the fun times that I had with Nina and everything before I got sick, you know, that all, each deck reminds you of something. I mean, even in the Hanson Roberts, you know, my grandfather has been dead for many, many years, at least 30 years, because my youngest, is 29, and I think she was about 3 months old when my grandparents died, and just soon as, you know, that always reminds me of my grandfather, because when he used to go outside, my nana used to run like crazy to get her purse and give me some money, because he never liked it. You know, he was really tight with money. He really, really was, very much so. So there you have it. Hearth and Home decks. I think it was a terrific tag to do, and I've been enjoying watching everybody else's. Until next time, this is Tracy.